Welcome to the Silver Ranch Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Schmidt, Vice President of InvestCore, the developer of the new Silver Ranch Subdivision. In this podcast, we'll take you behind the scenes of Bismarck's newest subdivision and get to know the people and businesses making it happen. Today's guest is Mayor Steve Bakken. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Glad I could be here.
First of all, I guess, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Mayor Steve Bakken. I do private development, government affairs, relations, wind up doing, in my private life, a bunch of consulting. One of my key focuses is economic development. As mayor, I see one of my biggest duties is we operate as a business because that's the most efficient way to preserve the tax dollars because the money's not ours. And we have 5 responsibilities. It's fire, police, water, road, sewer. Those are our responsibilities as a community, and those are our responsibilities as taxpayers. So I'm always cognizant of how you can have efficiencies that can save on those costs. And then from a business perspective, I'm always looking at how we grow tax base. That's what I do in my private side with economic development. And that's what I look to do as the Mayor of Bismarck. We need to continually grow the tax base in an efficient manner, or we're not going to grow as a community.
So talking about growing Bismarck, we're here talking about Silver Ranch and other developments. How does that help Bismarck, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, one of the things I really liked about the Silver Ranch project was the efficiencies that it contains when it comes to City of Bismarck infrastructure. I guess the way I like to explain it when I explain Silver Ranch to people who ask me about a sizable community or development that's coming into the community, the way I like to explain it is it's city blocks and it's a city development. It's a smaller footprint with the number of residents that are there. So when you look at that from an infrastructure perspective, that's very beneficial to the City of Bismarck.
Do you think Silver Ranch will put a strain on city resources, i.e. police, fire? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I don't, because we're a growing community. Bismarck's continuing to grow. We're going to continue to grow. I know from a county perspective, one of the things that they've never had to address before, and Silver Ranch wasn't quite at that level that checked that box, but when you start looking at urban-style developments out in the county wasn't prepared for that. And I know we've had a couple things that have come up in county planning and zoning recently that developers are starting to look at things like that. I think Silver Ranch was the first one to start going down that road. And when you're starting to look at what we have from an infrastructure cost and how we efficiently manage our infrastructure needs, those developments that are growing, rather than just annexing sizable developments in, ones that are planned well and efficiently designed, that do have that smaller footprint to be able to maximize the capacity and the density within a development like Silver Ranch does, I think is very beneficial. One of the things that I always look at too is when you're building communities that are going to be part of the city, are all the needs there for the folks that live there? Can you get a gas fill up? Can you get a convenience store? Do you have all these amenities that go into helping somebody stay within their little space?
Right. Another thing, with Silver Ranch being master planned, probably out to 30 years is what we're thinking the project. I mean, by it being master planned, how much does that help the city and the city officials?
It does. One of the things that I really promote is, first of all, I don't ever want to hear that's the way we've always done something, because we do have a sizable infrastructure debt in the city of Bismarck. So when you're starting to do master planning, you can get out ahead and do that long-term planning that gives us a snapshot of where we're not only going to be here in 5 years, but 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the road. And that's the methodology we need to start doing from an efficiency standpoint and have the best use of taxpayer dollars.
Another question, with Silver Ranch being a big development, a lot of developers in Bismarck doing, different developments. What does the development community mean to the city of Bismarck?
We're partners. And no matter how you tend to look at that relationship between city services and the developing community, we're not growing without the development community. So the developers we need to be in a partnership with. One of the things I'm really working on and with staff is how do we become more efficient? How can we streamline that process? The other side of that is customer service. And that customer service aspect, working with developers, that's very important because that's our growth. That's our future for the city of Bismarck. So the customer service aspect, but having that relationship where we're in partnership with developers, it's absolutely vital for the city.
Great. Mayor, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Silver Ranch Podcast. If you'd like to hear more, subscribe for new episodes and connect with us online at Silver Ranch Subdivision on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or silverranchnd.com. We'll talk again next time on the Silver Ranch Podcast.